Hi guys, and welcome to this video of Subnautica. I wanted to put this together just to kind of show you what I've been experiencing for the last 15-20 hours of playing the game. So before we get on to that, I just want to show you what happens at the start of every game just to set the scene.
Launch in 3, 2, 1. Greetings, survivor. Great job not dying. To assist you in further survival in emergency situations, you have been issued this personal data assistant. The interface visible now will organize your inventory, display currently available construction blueprints, and holds other valuable information.
So that's how the game begins. You are in a crash escape pod on an alien planet with just your wits to survive. And this is what it looks like after a few hours of gameplay. So at this point I've already repaired the escape pod and everything's working perfectly fine. As you can see, power's up. That's the fabricator, where you create everything from basic materials up to deployables and different tools and equipment that you can use. And that's a spare storage container. You can put different things in. As you can see, there's nothing within there, but I'm carrying quite a few different things, including additional oxygen tanks, a sea glide to get around faster in the water, and some other things. Now you can get out of the escape pod in two ways. You can either go up the stairs or down through the hatch. That, in the distance, was the Aurora, and that was the ship that you departed from in the escape pod. That's the ship that blew up in orbit. Now, underwater is where the action happens in Subnautica. And the developers had to make sure that they got the movement and the feel just right. And they've done a really good job. If you've ever been snorkeling or scuba diving, you'll know pretty much immediately. It feels very close to that sensation, and it's such a relaxing game to play because of it. Now, like I say, this game I've been playing for several hours now. That's my habitat in front of you. On the right hand side is a multifunction room with an aquarium inside. These are a few outside storage lockers, some corridors, and the multi-purpose room. And then at the very end is my moon pool. The moon pool is a room where you can make modifications to your Seamoth, and that's the first submersible that you gain access to. We'll take a look at that in a second. On top there are some solar panels, so they are constantly collecting energy during daylight, which means I don't need to continually craft new power cells to power the habitat. You build things for the habitat using the habitat builder tool. So the example here is a quick corridor that I could build if I wanted to extend it, and that's one of the things I'm going to be doing in the future as I continue to stream and I really enjoy Subnautica. So you can imagine you can create some pretty massive habitats fairly easily with that tool.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
That's the aquarium. There's some of the fish in there are the ones that I grabbed from as I've been moving around. And there's also some seeds I planted in there as well that are starting to grow very nicely. In this room, that's the second fabricator, comm relay, that is a locker to store more things in, and a personal modification station. So things like survival knife, your air tank and fins, you can improve them. This is my desk, so this is where I like to think I sit when I'm streaming and working. It is a pretty view. And this is the moon pool with my birthed Seamoth. Now you can change the name of your submersible, so I've changed mine to a fire moth, and this is the panel where you can add different things or create different power-ups for it, or power modules actually. The Seamoth can be upgraded in several ways, including solar power.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
And also the ability to dive much deeper, as well as things like torpedoes and what have you. Now this is what I built last night, and this beauty is my current pride and joy. It's a Cyclops submersible, and after some discussion it was decided to call it sci-fi. Look at her. Isn't she absolutely gorgeous? In fact, she's so large that the Seamoth can dock with her. If we're very careful.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
She's a big ship, 2 levels, lots of different things. I put storage lockers in her, I've got a fabricator in her, and this is where you pilot her from. Now, because the Cyclops is a big beast, it's basically a mobile base. It's going to be far easier to show you some of the different areas of Subnautica if we take the fire moth. The first area I want to show you is one of the islands, and that's where the sci-fi is currently birthed. Now, it is very possible to beach a Seamoth. It's also probably possible to beach a Cyclops. I'm not sure, I've not tried it. But I did beach the fire moth here a few days ago. That's why you see the parts in the sand where I've had to dig under it. Now, the islands are still, I think, fairly in development. There's not a lot happening with them. You can collect resources, and there are, as you can see, the kind of spider analogues which will take a chunk out of you if you give them the time. This next area I want to show you is a creepvine forest. It's analogous to a kelp forest, I suppose, in Earth's waters. The creepvine and the creepvine seeds you can collect, and at the bottom of these areas there tends to be quite a few different resources, but there also tends to be a predator called a stalker. Now, the way that you craft is that you get blueprints, you scan basically little boxes called fragments. If you scan enough of them, you get a blueprint for whatever the information that fragment contained, and that blueprint then gives you the ability to be able to go ahead and build that. So that's how the Cyclops, for example, was built. Now, this area is at the back of the Aurora, and you can see the massive engine nacelles just above. This is a great area to go scavenging because there's lots of different fragments that you can scan for more blueprints. There's lots of metal fragments you can pick up for titanium when you process them. There's also a lot of supply crates as well that you can get different things out of. This is a bit further, and it's at the side of the Aurora. Now, these kind of waters do get very dangerous very quickly. There are some very big predators in Subnautica's oceans. And when I was recording this, you can just see in the distance, that's a Reaper. That's the biggest predator I know of. And I panicked a little bit when I saw it. Now, I tried to hang around to get some more footage, which, as you'll see in a minute, turned out to be not the smartest idea I've ever had. Now I've had several run-ins with Reapers. To date I've not lost a Seamoth, but they've been seriously damaged because of them. Now this area is the front of the Aurora. You can see the massive amount of damage it's taken. You can, if you've got a radiation suit, go in there and have a wander around. And there's some exciting things to do in there. Now, this next section shows mushroom trees, or tree mushrooms, one of the two. It's a relatively small section of the forest, but just look at how beautiful they are. The amount of content and the amount of different areas within Subnautica is absolutely incredible. In fact, I've been playing now 15-20 hours, and whilst I was recording this video I still found new sections that I'd never even knew existed, and new life forms that just suddenly started to appear. Now this is another section with mushroom trees. Just watch when I turn the light off. How beautiful is that? Now in the middle of this section is what I want to show you. You can see there's a little bit of stuttering. That's the game. That is a massive, massive tree. It's humongous. And it's by far the biggest of the mushroom trees. The game does suffer a little bit because it's the level of detail. Things do tend to pop in and pop out quite a bit, and you do sometimes get stuttering. The amount depends on your system. For me, it's not too bad. I'm more than happy to accept that. But on some systems it is a bit excessive. And that's the thing about Subnautica, is you may be going from A to B, but quite often you'll find you, instead of maybe taking 5 minutes, it'll take half an hour because you spend so much time just investigating, and this is a perfect example of that. I'm going to stop talking in a minute. I'm going to finish the voiceover in a second to let you enjoy this section of the video. And this is a cave which is not too far from where the escape pod initially lands, and there's several of these around the map. So I'm going to finish the voiceover now and just leave the video running for the next couple of minutes. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you've really enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe button. As always, enjoy your gaming. Take care.